from Pix 11 News, destabilizing effect. New York City Mayor Eric Adams faces criticism for shelter policy. Okay, well, that's just vague enough. Who knows what the policies are? And who's really mad? Is it the mainstream media? Is it the establishment? Is it the people? Are you guys angry because he has turned luxury hotels into migrant shelters or erected several standalone migrant shelters? Are you mad that there is now an anchor baby support group in Manhattan? Or are you mad that these criminal illegals and their anchor babies won't be able to live indefinitely on the taxpayer dime? And I guess it doesn't matter either way at this particular point, because now Mayor Eric Adams has come down with COVID. I mean, suspiciously, after his aide was raided, then he got served a subpoena, and now magically he has COVID. I mean, was he okay? Did you feel all right? Why did you get a test? It's been 4 years. You don't have to keep playing this game, but of course that's going to be the excuse for eternity. Either way, my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot and cost you nothing. But if you want to help me a little bit more and spend a tiny bit of money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description.
The first day of school is a big day for any student, and it will be for thousands of migrant students. But the difference...
Migrant students? You mean criminal, illegal anchor babies? Right? Okay, maybe they're not anchor babies. They were probably born somewhere else if they're in school at this point in time. But this, I mean, they're just gearing up to turn everybody into a government-dependent weirdo.
For them is they're not sure whether the school they start that math class in September will be the same school they attend in just a few weeks.
Oh no, the people who aren't supposed to be going to public school at all, they're not supposed to be here by any stretch of the imagination, might have to go to a different school because they're going to live in a different place that the government hands out to their family. I mean, this is complete madness.
Or a few months.
Stop evicting children!
A Wednesday morning rally in Washington Heights, across the street from an elementary.
And look at this crowd. Look at this crowd of basically 60 plus old white people saying, oh, don't evict the children. These are people who are not even supposed to be here. Where were they supposed to go? What were the parents supposed to do? They're all just supposed to live off, I guess, what you're paying in taxes to the government, and you can't even realize that you are working against your own best interest?
School a day before the first day of classes.
Trust me, as nice as a wind shelter is, it is not the place you want to live with your children.
Migrant advocates, supportive elected officials, and nonprofit providers, including Women in Need CEO Christine Quinn, all calling on Mayor Eric Adams to end the controversial policy of limiting migrant families to 60 days of shelter.
There you go. Right there. They have no issue with their property being commandeered by criminal illegals, but they are more angry at the fact that these people they've been given housing for free are not going to be able to live there for the foreseeable future, forever.
Before they are forced to go back through the application process.
And this kind of reminds me of San Francisco, right? Where they spent years letting dope fiends fester under the Bay Bridge. And then when they pretend they're going to clean it up, some people are angry about it. It's like, it's the same people. They gave you the instruction to be okay with all of this nonsense. And then when they finally say they get onto a national scale and say, okay, we're going to clean it up so we don't look so bad, then they push back on that. That's what's happening here, is like these people have been given the world on a silver spoon, and as soon as you start trying to enforce the rules just a tiny bit, they push back, because obviously they want nothing more than to take what you already have and turn anybody who doesn't agree with it into a criminal.
They only gave me for October 14th.
It is a process advocates say destabilizes migrant parents like Maria. She says in the last year and a half, the city transferred her and her kids to 4 different shelters in 4 different boroughs.
Yes, and she should be thankful for that. You should get nothing.
All while she struggled to keep her 8 and 14-year-old sons enrolled in their Bronx school.
Yep, add a kid, right? Preferably a little girl, but if you can't do that, add a little boy. And of course, now you're going to pull on the heartstrings, but tell the American parents that they should probably bin their babies.
where they were first sheltered. They are now living, for now, at a family shelter on Manhattan's Upper East Side.
I don't have a job, and I don't know if they are going to give me housing again in the shelter. A little worried about my children's education.
Mayor Adams has repeatedly gone on record over the last year, stating the shelter limits policy is a necessity and a consequence of the ongoing influx of new migrants, which the city has no power to end.
Can you imagine the destabilizing effect of a young...
I just don't buy that. The city 100% could stop this if they wanted to. They could change the laws. They could. I mean, what do they have to do? I guess you have to get through Kickback Kathy Hochul and maybe the federal government. But you guys welcomed this, and now you're mad. I mean, this is a complete and total mess. So some people, we've seen protest shelters in their neighborhood. We've seen other protests against shelters on Staten Island, I believe. But now this other faction is saying, no, these people should be allowed to stay here forever.
Person in school being evicted from a shelter.
If you get moved to Queens, for God's sake, you cannot go to school in Manhattan, as Carmen said. It's too long.
Maria says she is hopeful her sons will be able to continue attending school in the Bronx.
They interview me every 15
Okay, well, obviously she doesn't speak English, but where's the father, right? Is he in a different shelter? Is he back in Guatemala? What is going on here?
days and tell me that I have to leave on October 14th.
The boy's education, so far, the only semblance of stability this family has known.
Look at this photo. They are trying so hard to pull on the heartstrings. Look at this single mom with 2 kids and 1 in a stroller. How dare you say that they can't just live on the taxpayer dime forever? How evil could you possibly be? Meanwhile, they are creating a permanent underclass of people that are going to forever be dependent on what Eric Adams or the next mayor or the next governor decides to give them.
Since leaving their home in Guatemala. A City Hall spokesperson tells Pix 11 News, quote, "Thanks to our measured approach, not a single family with children has been forced to sleep on the streets, and our
Forced? Bro, you came here voluntarily. And I say it all the time. Where are all the stories of whatever it is you're fleeing, right? Oh, you're seeking asylum. But what, do you have to read AP Guatemala to understand what it is they're actually fleeing? And then they get here, get the free stuff. The free stuff runs out and they say, no, you got to keep giving them free stuff. And New Yorkers are going to get nothing. The homeless, bro, I've talked to homeless or, down on their luck, these New Yorkers living in a shelter, and they've been fed up with these criminal illegals literally taking over.
30 and 60-day policies have allowed us to manage this crisis in a compassionate and fiscally responsible way. We continue to intensify our case management and assist migrants in their resettlement process, and we will continue to support all students and their families and ensure there is no gap in services, whether they transition to a new school community or choose to stay in their current.
Okay, look, this is absolutely ridiculous. And Mayor Eric Adams is going to try to play both sides of the fence, but it's not going to work.
I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
And here's another one, also from Pix 11. Brooklyn residents fight against rezoning.
Not a win, but a huge blow to affordability.
The controversial era linen rezoning and development proposal in Brooklyn brought hundreds of community members together from Park Slope and Windsor Terrace Monday evening.
A high-rise that's out to rezone an area, like you're like, there's so many red flags that are already going off while we're seeing more and more people here that can't afford their existing rent.
The rezoning and development plan would allow 441 and 467 Prospect Avenue to be developed into 2 13 or 19-story towers. The organization housing
Yeah, and who's going to pay for that, right? The migrants aren't contributing to the pot, but I'm sure if that gets built, that's where they're going to go.
High-rises continues to push back on the presented plan, saying it has found a developer that will provide a better alternative.
If the zoning is limited to 7 stories or less, they would be able to make a really generous market rate offer for the property and be able to build and operate 100% affordable housing for families.
There is simply, in my view, no credible argument that this neighborhood cannot accept more residents.
But those in
And that guy, just bring more. Just bring more. We could do it. No, you can't. We're clearly seeing that you're not capable of doing any of this.
Speaking at a town hall meeting tonight on the Upper West Side, the mayor said that he doesn't see an end to this problem as the city is not getting enough support from the federal government.
This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City.
And you just want to keep going.
Favor think otherwise.
This neighborhood that we're in right now, it's a wonderful neighborhood to live in. It has built 0 new units of affordable housing in the last 15 years. It's one of the most has some of the most exclusionary patterns in the city. So we really need to be adding housing of all types as much as possible.
At this early stage, my office does not have a formal position on this proposal that was presented. On the proposal.
Councilmember Hanif addressed the public by saying she will not accept the bare minimum from the developers and that her main priority is ensuring affordable housing is deeply and permanently. As far as the judges...
Affordable housing. That's, of course, just a made... Bro, affordable in New York is going to be what? $2,000 for a one-bedroom? Right? There's no such thing as affordable housing in New York. You can only be a criminal illegal who's going to get everything for free, or you're going to be a struggling New Yorker, or of course you could be on the upper end of society and you're not going to have to pay attention to any of this, or more likely you're going to realize how terrible it is and leave the city entirely.
Decision last week to stop any further review of the proposed plan.
And our premise for that was that the application that Arrow filed.
Yeah, okay, but look at this guy. These people are absolute weasels, right? We just need to, who?
I'm losing my patience.
Was not ready for the land use review process. The community has a statutory right to provide input in the process, which is what we're doing here today.
Yeah, okay, bro. This is all absolutely nuts. Some people are mad that the criminal illegals aren't going to be able to stay forever, and then some other people want to fight a rezoning battle. I would be willing to bet that these people don't even know what rezoning means. They just like to have a fight about something. And who knows what the correct answer for this rezoning. I mean, look, it's all too late, right? I hate to say it, but it's rotten from the inside out. They need to drift off into the Atlantic and start over. The same thing could be said for California, but on the Pacific.